Hi, I am researcher Nai. Suppose you just find out that you'll have a test tomorrow and you have only 4 hours to study before you sleep. There is no way you will sacrifice your sleeping time because you know how important sleep is for consolidation of memory. Then how will you use that precious 4 hours? Option A, you will use all the 4 hours for study, and then with all the material still fresh in your mind, just jump into bed for a good sleep. Or option B, you divide the 4 hours into 2 sessions, each with 1.5 hours study time, followed by a half-hour recess. Then you go to bed, hoping you have studied enough for the test. Challenging? Then here is another challenge. Suppose you are walking in a city you are not so familiar. You've just walked past something interesting a couple of minutes ago, and suddenly you want to go back there for a detailed look. However, when you do so, you just can't find the location after some search. What should you do then? Option A, keep on recalling your memory of the place in search, because you know before long that memory will be lost and you have got to find the location before that. Or option B, stop for a short coffee break at the street corner store, keeping your fingers crossed that the location will just flash back to your mind as you sip your drink. These two questions are related. They are both inquiring the effort we should pay in order to remember something. The first one is about long-term memory, and the latter one is about short-term or working memory. To answer the first question, researchers ran multiple trials on maze exploration by some mice, with the aim of training them to follow a different designated route in each trial to receive a water reward after they had made the right move. The mice were then allowed to return to their home cage for sleep. Throughout the whole session, the neural activities within the brains of the mice were recorded and analyzed later on. Researchers found that, while the mice were having their water reward after some of the trials, a special type of neural activities called sharp-wave ripples were detected. Upon further analysis, the activation sequence or pattern of the sharp-wave ripples detected after a particular trial resembled that of the neural activities recorded during the trial, which is the impression of that event in the brain. Further, when the mice were sleeping after all the trials, sharp-wave ripples were again detected. The neural activation patterns of these sleeping ripples were found to match those of the trials that were followed by the detection of sharp-wave ripples when the mice were awake. With such observations, researchers believed that waking sharp-wave ripples tagged selected neural activation patterns by reactivating them, and these tagged patterns are further replayed numerous times during sharp-wave ripples of post-experience sleep to consolidate the related experiences into long-term memories. Then, as waking sharp-wave ripples could only occur at the brain state of reward consumption but not maze exploring, probably there would be no tagging and memory consolidation if the mice kept on exploring the maze without rest. Okay, we now turn to our second question. People used to think that to keep a sensory input in our working memory, the activation pattern of neural activities invoked by the input is simply maintained by the brain persistently over a period of time when the input is withdrawn, which is also known as the memory delay period. However, recent researches have shed new light on this model. To investigate the above model, researchers tried to look into how the working memory would perform when attention was distracted during the memory delay period. For this purpose, a monkey was recruited to perform a memory task for a number of trials. In each trial, the monkey would look at a screen which showed a black square in one of 5 locations for a short period of time as a memory cue for the monkey to remember. After the black square disappeared, there would be a time delay before the screen showed the 5 locations for the monkey to point out that of the black square just seen. In some of the trials, the monkey had to finish the memory task together with an attention task to see how it interfered with the former. There were 2 versions of this. For the basic attention task plus memory task, a ring was first shown in the center of the screen and cued as the target. The monkey would wait for the target to change color, and while waiting, the memory cue was shown. Then when the target finally changed color, the monkey should release a lever in time to respond correctly. After that, the 5 locations of the memory task were shown for the monkey's action. For the advanced attention task plus memory task, the event sequence was similar, but now 3 rings were shown initially instead of 1, and any one of them would be cued as the target. Sometimes, the non-target rings might change color, for which the monkey should kept on waiting until the target finally changed color to trigger action. Researchers first checked the performance of the monkey in the basic and advanced attention tasks, and found the basic one showed significantly higher correct percentage. So it was confirmed that the basic attention task was really easier than the advanced attention task. Then, analysis of memory task performance revealed that the monkey showed lower correct percentage when having to finish the memory task with attention task rather than just finishing the memory task alone, and such attention task interference on memory task was proportional to the difficulty of the attention task. As the brain activity of the monkey was being monitored while it performed the tasks, researchers gained insights on what caused the above behavior. When the monkey was doing the memory task alone, presenting the memory cue at each of the 5 locations would invoke very different neural activation patterns. Hence the monkey could distinguish and remember well at which locations the memory cue were. But the performance of the basic attention task had weakened the above difference in neural activation patterns, as some of the neural activities were dedicated to the attention task and no longer could respond to spatial differences, making it more difficult for the animal to distinguish the locations of the memory cue. Such difference was further wiped out with the advanced attention task, which is more difficult and required a higher level of attention and thus neural activities. Interestingly, after the monkey finished the attention tasks, researchers witnessed a reappearance of highly differential neural activation patterns corresponding to the memory cue being presented at different locations, similar to the situation seen when the monkey was doing the memory task alone. It turned out that although such difference in activation patterns seemed to be lost during the performance of attention tasks, actually it was somehow stored in a hidden layer of our brain. Once neural activities were released from the attention tasks, we were able to restore it. Hence, the 2 questions at the beginning of this episode have a common solution: taking rest. Learning uninterrupted to build long-term memories may not be successful as there are no reactivations. Rather, taking a break in learning will help memory consolidation. Maintaining neural activation patterns to preserve short-term memories may not be possible as they are easily swept away by a shift of attention. Rather, taking a break to shut down all attention will help restore the memories we needed. So we will take a break now. See you in the next episode to proceed in our journey of NeuroAI discovery.